The Legend of Zelda is full of relics and important items that alter the story or even the way you play the game, sometimes both. These relics come in all shapes and sizes, but of all the iconic gadgets and artifacts that have been in our minds over the years, few have stood out as much as the legendary Ocarina of Time. Be it because it comes from a game of the same name that many Zelda fans today, myself included, accredit as being their introduction to the series, or the fact that it holds the power of manipulating, well, time itself, no one can deny its impact to the franchise as a whole. But one thing that's always kind of bugged me is the mysteries surrounding its origin. I mean, we eventually got an answer for where the Master Sword came from. It was forged from the Goddess Sword. But the Ocarina of Time never gets a similar explanation. What makes it different than any other ocarina, and why? You know, besides the fact that it's blue, which we'll get into later, by the way. And on that note, without further ado, allow me to humbly present who made the Ocarina of Time. So let's start off by making sure everyone's on the same page with the Ocarina of Time. This massively important relic comes from the game of the same name, Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Shocking, I know. It also makes a huge appearance in the direct sequel, Majora's Mask. It first comes into Link's possession when Zelda is being rushed away from the castle on horseback because the evil Ganondorf is attacking the royal family in an effort to seize the ocarina for himself. In an instant moment of decision, Zelda throws the precious ocarina into the moat surrounding the castle, praying that Link would find it and protect it from the wiles of the Gerudo King. Shortly after, Ganondorf appears and asks Link directly which way Zelda had fled. Link, enormously brave even as a child without the Triforce of Courage, refuses to answer and gets knocked out because of it. Little did Ganondorf know that the ocarina was a few feet behind him in the moat, and by not killing the child Link, he had already sealed his own fate. But story time's over, back to talking about the ocarina. Throughout the course of the two games, the little blue instrument is used to accomplish several things like opening the Door of Time, revealing the Master Sword in the Sacred Realm, which is why Ganondorf was looking for it in the first place, warping Link to different temples, and even slowing down, speeding up, and rewinding time itself. Truly, these games wouldn't have even been possible without the mysterious wind instrument. Heck, the rest of the games in the timeline wouldn't either. But what we're told in-game about its origins is essentially nothing. In Ocarina of Time, the only words that we have that may allude to its creation are said by Zelda when Link meets her in the courtyard for the first time. You know, that scene where they're spying on the man with the evil eyes? She's explaining to Link that the Sacred Realm is accessible through the Temple of Time, and through it, you can access the Master Sword and the Triforce. That is when she states simply that according to legend, the Door of Time can be opened with 3 spiritual stones and the ocarina. The ocarina being associated with said legend. This really doesn't reveal much to us besides the notion that the ocarina may be ancient, passed down from generation to generation, or whatever being part of a legend means. So with its actual direct quote-unquote origin stated to be none other than legend, I decided to look elsewhere for clues on its creation. Of course, these days, one of the first places to look for anything Zora related outside of the games would be the official Zelda literature we have all been blessed with in recent years. For the newest title, Breath of the Wild, the book Creating a Champion is a fantastic resource to kind of read in between the lines of the game's locations and characters. For all things non-Breath of the Wild, we have the original Goddess Collection trilogy, which includes the widely acclaimed Hyrule Historia, which I consulted for clues surrounding the Ocarina of Time's origins. In the book, on pages 53 and 86, it alludes twice to a very key characteristic, the ocarina's color. The book states that its blue-white radiance brings to mind the time shift stones found in the eras of antiquity. Now, what are the time shift stones, you ask? For those that have played Skyward Sword, that name should ring a bell. In the Lanayru province of the game, and being mined in the Lanayru mining facility, these rocks are present and revealed to have innate time-shifting properties, hence the name. This creates some really nifty gameplay aesthetics, like the mind-blowing notion of creating a force field around the stones that inside said force field jumps time to centuries in the past while outside it seamlessly is still in the present. The book seems to imply that the ocarina may actually be made of the same material, which of course would possibly give some explanation to its innate ability to manipulate time. Looking closer at the stones themselves, there are some more clues we can gather about the ocarina's creation. Clearly marked on their surfaces is the early symbol of the Sheikah clan, an ancient people group dedicated to the service of Hylia and the protection of the royal family, who are descendants of Hylia. The Sheikah have always been technologically advanced for their time, as we also see in Breath of the Wild. So the notion that the mining facility and therefore study and excavation of the timeshift stones themselves being a Sheikah project is rather believable, wouldn't you agree? Perhaps they worked closely with the dragon Lanayru to develop the powerful technology to serve Hylia. Perhaps it even continued onward to be the technology that we see in Breath of the Wild, but that's kind of besides the point. With the timeshift stones and Sheikah's probable relations in mind, I began to search what we know of the Sheikah clan for any possible connections to instruments or music. And wouldn't you know it, not only did I find connections, but I found composers. Back in Ocarina of Time, the game that is, the Sheikah have a strong presence surrounding many events that transpire. Not only is a Sheikah elder, Impa, the protector of Princess Zelda and the one that teaches you Zelda's lullaby, but there's an entire town that used to be an exclusively Sheikah populated town called Kakariko Village. The village, now open to the public, still contains many of its old secrets from the Sheikah that once resided there, such as the mysterious Shadow Temple and the monsters at the bottom of the well. But what I'm getting at, and what's gonna tie this place in with the creation of the ocarina, is found in the graveyard. The graveyard is home to the buried corpses of the Sheikah, as expected. It is here that you can meet the ghosts, or pose, of two brothers who once served the royal family in life and now serve them in death. Meet the composer brothers, Sharp and Flat. Sharp says himself that he and his brother were born long ago in Kakariko, and states that all who were born there were destined to serve the royal family, signifying that they are in fact members of the Sheikah clan. These brothers were musical scientists who were able to conduct several different songs that alter reality, such as the Sun Song and possibly even the Song of Storms, although that one's more theoretical since that information comes from Majora's Mask, where the brothers also make an appearance, and in that game, Flat is said to have conducted it, but that entire game takes place in Termina, which is a land not even confirmed to actually exist, but anyway, they also studied the power of the Triforce and vowed to protect it along with the royal family. The most notable discovery the brothers were able to find comes from their study of the control over time via musical tones from ocarinas. Is this beginning to sound familiar? The brothers claim they actually finished that study, and in so doing attracted the attention of Ganondorf. However, in a tragic, dark twist, to protect the secrets they discovered, they took their own lives before Ganondorf could get what he wanted out of them. At this point, I was certain we had our answer staring us in the face. So let's break down all the clues we've talked about so far and conclude this mystery. The ocarina is said to be made of timeshift stones, a material known to the Sheikah, who are sworn to protect the royal family and Triforce. The composer brothers, brilliant Sheikah scientists, completed a study regarding controlling time that attracted the attention of Ganondorf, who was already shown in-game to be searching for the ocarina. Ganondorf probably wouldn't have been attracted to the composer brothers' studies if they remained simply words on paper. No, given the Sheikah's background in technology and the timeshift stones, completing their study and Ganondorf hearing about it most likely means they actually completed the creation of the Ocarina of Time, and upon Ganondorf's intrusion, entrusted the instrument to the elder Impa prior to taking their own lives. This would explain why Impa has musical knowledge and why Zelda ultimately had possession of the Ocarina with Ganondorf chasing after her. Wow, it all makes sense now. Of course, this isn't confirmed in black and white on paper, but what do you think? Did I convince you? Or is the Ocarina of Legend more ancient than what I talked about? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this exciting little theory. If you did, be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already for much more juicy Zelda and Nintendo content to come. As always, humongous thank you to my faithful patrons, including my newest one, Blossom Possum Cosplay. And actually, she's a wonderful cosplay artist, so please be sure to check her out on Instagram. I'll link to it and my Patreon page for those interested in getting your names up here in the description below. Also in the description are links to my Discord and Twitter and other ways to connect with me directly, you know, if you want to. Anyway, that's all I've got for you in this video. I hope you're all having a fantastic kickoff to 2020 and that you have a great rest of your day. This is maskednintendobandit signing out. Peace!